The River Spodden is the second major tributary of the River Roach. It is 7 3/4 miles long. It rises from a spring on the moors above Bacup, not far from the Lancashire/West Yorkshire border. It drops steeply in an easterly direction for about half a mile, then heads south towards Rochdale, carving out what is known as the Whitworth Valley. This was once heavily industrialised but is now mainly residential. The river drops through the Healy Dell Nature Reserve, where the scenery is spectacular. The final stretch is a rather drab, as it makes its way to join the Roach in the centre of Rochdale.
Yeah.
What's up, tributaries? Welcome back to All the Rivers, the show where we visit all the rivers in the UK. Today we are here starting off the River Spodden. It's a river and a place that is incredibly aggravating to get to, but when you actually do get to here, it's got a nice view, though that maybe does not make up for the genuine hour and a half that we've spent, traversing through some of the most awful terrain ever. So if you're going to visit this one from the source, wear boots.
Okay, as Simon alluded to, this was quite difficult to get here. It's a lovely spot. We approached it via the Rossendale Way from Sharney Ford between Bacup and Tomberden, and it was awful. To say it's a recognised way, they really do need to spend some money improving that stretch. Although the thing is, if we weren't purist about it, we could have walked the road to the wind farm most of the way, and we'd certainly recommend that if you're intending to follow our footsteps. Where we are actually is called, it's got three names: Inchfield Moor, Freehold Top and Trough Edge End, which I think is more where the trig point is, just up there. But you can see already the groove of the Spodden is starting, and you can see the line of the valley, not quite all the way down to Rochdale, but certainly into Whitworth. And there is a right of way just to the right of the river, which we'll be following in the next few minutes.
Yeah!
You can see just a few metres down the slope that the Spodden is already beginning to dig a channel out for itself down the hillside. Wonderful view here actually. Well, this is the first bridge over the River Spodden. You can see the channel it's taken. It comes pretty deep pretty quickly actually. We've just come down this track to the left hand side, and yeah, I think there is a path that goes over that concrete bridge, and I don't know why they've dammed the river up there, but interesting. At the moment the river is flowing in an easterly direction, but it's soon going to turn south. And a little further down the hill, look how deep a channel it's gouged out here. Nice shaly banks. Yeah, pretty impressive. Right, and this is the Spodden running behind the houses on Whitworth Road. As you can see, they've made full use of it as a feature. Lots of little bridges taking them over to some lovely gardens at Shoreforth. So yeah, this is quite nice. And here behind Eagly Bank in Shoreforth, the River Spodden is going under a bridge. It's coveted for quite a while in the valley here, and I think we might see it next on the other side of the road. And not far from Eagly Bank we have an interesting feature. In fact, it's just the other side of the road. This is our first real sighting of the remains of the old Bacup-Rochdale railway line. This was the site of Shawforth Station. Now the houses you can see above have obliterated most traces of the station, but the old station underpass has been incorporated as a feature of the housing estate, and of course you've got the old retaining walls here as well. So yeah, station is long gone, but you can still use the underpass, and we'll be coming back to the old track bed, as that for quite a way gives the best view vantage point for the Spodden, particularly at its most spectacular feature, but that's for another time. Hello, this is the Spodden emerging from one of its culverts, taking it under Mosside Street, and you can see it's being replenished by a brook coming in from the left here, and wends its way on. It will shortly cross to the other side of Market Street. And here is the Spodden curving round and entering a tunnel to take it under Market Street, just off the road called Landgate. A bit of vegetation here. And here you can see the Spodden emerging on the other side of Market Street through a very attractive tunnel. That's a lovely arch, and notice somebody's built some decking on to look over the river. And here it is emerging on the other side of Old Lane. We're now on a footbridge over the Spodden, which connects Market Street back up there with Springside ahead. I haven't really noticed all that coniferous plantation before. I don't know this area all that well, not up this far up anyway. And as you can see, it's a metal footbridge, and there's the Spodden moving onwards. Flowing quite nicely at the moment. We're on the edge of Faceit here, having just walked a tarmac section of the old railway line, and here we're crossing the Spodden near a little weir that you can see just through the fence. So we're round and cross to the other side, where probably can't see much at all. Oh yeah, through the gaps in the bushes you can see the Spodden trickling on ahead. Right, this is the River Spodden, just coming to a bridge carrying Millfold over it, and you can see the name of the cottages by its side here. Let's just go over for a look on the other side of the road. Yeah, this is the onward flow of the Spodden towards Whitworth. And here we're on John Street, and the Spodden is flowing away to our left. There is apparently a path that runs down to a bridge over the Spodden from here by the side of Whitworth Leisure Centre, which looks closed, but I think it's part of the school fields of St Anselm's Primary here, and that's St Anselm's Catholic Church. And as I was explaining to Simon, some of the pupils here went to the same secondary school as me, despite it being in Rochdale, because it was much nearer than any secondary school going up back towards Bacup. Right, we're now on Daniel Street in Whitworth, and this old mill here It's built right on top of the Spodden, and it marked the start of a period where the valley was most heavily industrialised. So the Spodden has to fit in between a lot of mill buildings. Some of them have closed, some of them haven't. But if you're walking down the valley, this is the point where you have to retreat to Market Street for a short while. But once we get to the other side of the industrialised section, then the scenery gets a lot better.